All right, what's going on, Banger TV? This is Blaine. Just kidding, it's Connor. I am back with another Overkill review, Banger's weekly metal review show. Just before we get started here, there's a couple things that I want to talk about with Fuzzed and Buzzed. So, as you guys know, in past reviews, I mentioned our first ever metal record. Well, it is here, Black Absinthe, On Earth or in Hell. This guy is shipping everywhere, free shipping in all of North America, and I will be spinning wax around this record June 18th at the Bovine. Be there. And then we have teamed up, and we're sort of sponsoring this first time ever festival called Laroon Doom Festival. It's with Black Throne Productions and a member of the Pale Horses. These guys are sleazy rock and roll. Check those guys out. But yeah, it's in Stony Creek. It's 2 days. You can camp out. There's some really good rock and roll within the scene. Bands coming from Quebec and Nova Scotia. The poster is here. Check it out, and check it out on social media. This week, I am reviewing a very highly anticipated follow-up album from a band sort of referred to as the Dark Beatles. Well, who doesn't want some more Uncle Acid? The song you just heard is The Viper, and that is the 6th studio album by British hard rockers, Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. Nell Ora Blue, or for us English-speaking folk, In the Blue Hour. Out right now. All right, a little history about Uncle Acid here. Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats were formed in 2009/2010 in Cambridgeshire, England, and formed by the founding member, visionary, and cult leader, Kevin Stars. They have 5 albums, 1 live record, and 5 7-inches. I'm only missing 1 if anybody has that. It's the Dan of a Split. Let me know, all right? The majority of the albums were on Rise Above, which is quite the astonishing relationship that they've had. So with their crazy history and their horror themes, did we see an album like this coming? Well, how about we dive in and find out? It's quite the interesting concept they did with this record, but damn, do I love it. So the Giallo film movement is a genre of murder mystery fiction that often contains slasher, thriller, psychological horror, and sexploitation. All of this was happening in the mid to late 60s in Italy. So as we can see with this album, Kevin Stars was extremely inspired and wanted to explore the sounds of Uncle Acid. And man, this is the biggest curveball that Uncle Acid has ever given us. Like, here, just listen to this song. Bear with me here, and sorry to all the Italians. Tortura el telefono. Why would they make an album like this, you know? And I think, like I said before, they're really exploring these new sounds, and Stars was inspired. And then here's like a really great statement from this press release about this record here. Again, dude editing this, you could put Stars' face above mine. Rather than doing a soundtrack to a fake film, I thought it would be interesting to have scenes acted out almost like a radio play, and then created music around that. So I wrote a quick script and decided to set it in 1970s Italy with Italian actors. You know, we got this whole concept here, and something that really brings this concept together is this last song. So take a listen to the last song on this record. This concept is so interesting, and I love that they really took a deep dive and tried something new. You guys want to know about more Italian occult doom? Check out Sarah's amazing Overkill global review of all of these amazing Italian doomers.
The Italian doom genre is also inspired from some movies and soundtracks like Mario Bava movies, Claudio Simonetti and Goblins soundtracks, and his famous collaboration with Dario Argento.
They really tried something new, and they really weren't afraid to jump out of their usual sound, and they played left field, and they threw it even further than left field. And you know what, all you diehard Uncle Acid fans, do not worry. There is some absolute classic Uncle Acid sounds in here. Like, just tune into this song. See, that was Only Death Handcuffs You. And holy moly, did that give me goosebumps. And I'm really happy that we did get some original sounding Uncle Acid. It really brought everything together here. I was a bit worried listening to this that it was going to be this whole crazy concept and there weren't going to be these original sounds, but there were. And that really made me happy that I could bring something that is familiar, and it really was music to my ears. It made me very happy once I heard, another classic Uncle Acid riff. Like, here, just listen to this. The fact that these guys are intertwining all these cool sounds with original Uncle Acid sounding, it just really ties everything together. There are so many ambient sounds and so much unheard sounds ever done by Uncle Acid. Like, check out this song, The Treasure of Sardinia. That saxophone? Have you ever heard saxophone on Uncle Acid before? I have not. And that is like some of the coolest stuff I've ever heard. And now listen to the title track of this record, In the Blue Hour, or Nell Ora Blue. Has that like earth style rock and roll and earth drone. It's really cool that Uncle Acid was really diving deep into this and doing anything that they wanted. Like, there were really no boundaries to this, and this album really shows it. Like, I would compare this to Frank Zappa's Joe's Garage and Sleep's Dope Smoker, right? Like, these guys, this is their magnum opus. They're trying something completely new, and this album is fucking long. It's like an hour long, almost an hour and 3 minutes, and it's with all of these different sounds and the classic Uncle Acid sounds. I am like really, really, really excited for this to sort of expand and, maybe do some live stuff. Like, another example, listen to this tune. Vendetta, and man, that really reminds me of this really great Toronto, like I guess you could say psychedelic jazz hop band called Bad Bad Not Good. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. They're an amazing group. I don't know if Uncle Acid has ever heard of Bad Bad Not Good, but man, like as soon as I heard the song the first time, I instantly thought of that band. And it's cool that they're really picking up on the Italian film. They're not really like taking everything from these Italian soundtracks, but they're really putting pieces into that and really putting their own flair to it. It just goes to show how amazing of an artist Kevin Stars is. Because during the recording of this, for about 18 months, the band wasn't able to get together. And Kevin basically did all of the sounds on this, or the majority of them. And that just goes to show like how dedicated he is to Uncle Acid and how dedicated he is to the music industry. All right, so like I said, I was very excited about this record, but man, do you ever have to be in the mood for this? And it can really feel like a daunting task. You know, sometimes I even feel that way about listening to Dope Smoker. It's like, shit, I'm only 20 minutes into this and I got like another 45 minutes, and that's even Joe's Garage. You know, you listen to a bit of that and you're like, okay, is this album done yet? And I was sort of getting that. And, you know, as Stars mentioned in the press release, like this is not an easy listening album. Like, here, get this. By the end of it, you're left exhausted and it's hard for the listener. We don't make easy listening. And holy moly, were they right about that. Like, here, just listen to this tune. So that was Driving Fast Towards the Countryside. And you could totally picture you are driving fast toward the countryside, but man, it like sort of makes you want to go crazy. It like sort of makes your mind bleed, basically, right? Like, here, listen to this as well. And that is called The Murder. And man, I think I got murdered listening to that and I resurrected. It was really crazy. I think if I was trapped in a room listening to The Murder consecutively, I would probably bash my head against a wall. It is like one of those songs where it actually does drive you nuts. And I think Kevin nailed that to the T, that this is not an easy album to listen to all the time. You sort of got to be in the mood for this. You can't just randomly throw it on Sunday brunch with your parents. I think they would want to leave. I do think this is a really great album. You know, when you really sit down and listen to it and all the different things that they've done on this sound-wise, you know, the ambience of the album, the flow of the record where you can't put this on shuffle whatsoever. And if you do that, it would not make sense at all. You really, really, really need to listen to it consecutively. And that being said, I am giving this 4.2 creepy uncles out of 5. And that could be my creepy uncle or your creepy uncle. Hell yeah, I love this part, man. There's so much great music popping around, people sending me stuff. So let's get going. May 10th, the band The Hazy Tones from Montreal. This album is called Wild Fever. It is out on Black Throne's production. It is Montreal hard rock. It's like blistering rock and roll fury. These guys just did a tour with Cannabis that was totally awesome. They did a lot of Quebec and Ontario dates, and these guys rip. You should check out the new album. Black Throne has a bunch of records. Go buy that. It's totally blistering rock and roll fury. And then up next,
Right there.
Dope Throne, an amazing, amazing Montreal, as they call them, sludge. They're sludge. You know, they're really gross. They're filthy. Like, I would not want my parents to listen to this band whatsoever. They would most likely disown me. So this album by Dope Throne is out May 24th. It is on Totem Cat Records, and it is called Broke Sabbath. And then out now, a really great Nigerian desert blues band called Mudu Mokhtar. And this album is called Funeral for Justice. These guys are really amazing, really bringing in that Nigerian sound into this whole desert blues theme. These guys rock. I have all of their records and I'm really excited to pick this up. Again, that is out right now. And then, so this is quite the mysterious mention here. There's this band called The Strange Happenings, which are a really great Ontario rock band. Here is a picture of the band. And here is the first ever sneak preview of the cover. Yeah, it's totally blurred out. Who knows what it's going to look like, right? These guys are really cool. It's coming out, they told me, sometime in June. Really good rock and roll, bringing a little psychedelic vibe to it as well. That wraps up this review. So you tune in, you rock and roll. This is coming out around Mother's Day. Tell your mother I love them. Rock and roll.